Elon Musk spots dirty homeless man in crowd, calls him out and does something shocking. Imagine this: a crowded city street, the kind where people rush by without noticing the faces around them. It's noisy, the hum of traffic blending with the chatter of strangers. In the middle of it all stands a man, unshaven, his clothes dirty, and his eyes distant, looking like he's lived through more than anyone could imagine. Most people pass by without a second glance, but not everyone. Suddenly, a sleek car pulls up near the crowd, and the murmurs grow louder. Heads turn as someone steps out. It's Elon Musk. Yes, the Elon Musk, the billionaire, the tech genius, the man behind Tesla and SpaceX. He's dressed sharply but casually, like he just came from a meeting that could change the world. People stop what they're doing, pulling out their phones, whispering in excitement. Musk waves to the crowd, but his eyes are scanning, looking for something, or maybe someone. And then, in a moment no one saw coming, his gaze locks onto that homeless man. The crowd around the man falls silent, confused, unsure of what's happening. Why would Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world, be interested in a homeless man? Is it pity? Curiosity? No one knows. But what happens next leaves everyone stunned. Musk walks over, his presence magnetic, drawing everyone's attention. The homeless man stands there, frozen, unsure of what to expect. As Musk approaches, he speaks, loud enough for the crowd to hear, but with a tone that carries something more than just words. There's no judgment, no condescension, just a question, simple but piercing. What's your story? The man, visibly shaken, looks around nervously, as if waiting for the crowd to mock him. But instead, there's silence. All eyes are on him. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words don't come. Elon doesn't push. He just stands there, waiting patiently, as if time has slowed down for this very moment. Suddenly, something changes in the homeless man's posture. His shoulders drop slightly, and he begins to speak, softly at first, then louder. His story is raw, filled with pain, loss, and hopelessness. A once successful man, he had it all until a series of unfortunate events left him on the streets. It's a story no one expected, and it's clear that the crowd is hanging on to every word. Elon Musk listens intently, not interrupting, not offering solutions yet, just listening. And the man keeps talking, as if this is the first time in years someone has truly cared. But then Musk does something no one saw coming. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out something small, and hands it to the man. The crowd leans in, trying to see what it is. At first glance, it looks like a business card. But Musk says something to the man that can't be heard clearly, and the homeless man's eyes widen in disbelief. Whatever was on that card, it wasn't just an offer of help. It was life-changing. As Musk walks back to his car, the homeless man stares at the card, still processing what just happened. The crowd is left buzzing with speculation. What did Elon Musk say? What was on that card? And why did he choose that man out of all the people in the crowd? But here's the twist. It's not the end of the story. It's just the beginning. What happens next is something no one could have predicted, and it's about to change both of their lives forever. Stay tuned to find out what Elon Musk really did and how this random encounter will lead to something shocking, something that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about fate, generosity, and the power of second chances. The crowd buzzed with questions and theories after Elon Musk left, but the homeless man just stood there, staring at the card in his hand. He couldn't believe it. His heart raced, and his hands shook slightly as he flipped the card over. It wasn't a business card at all. It was an invitation to a new life, a chance to leave everything behind. But how did it come to this? How did he, of all people, catch the attention of one of the most powerful men in the world? The man, whose name was Jeff, hadn't always been homeless. He once had a good life, a stable job, and a family he adored. But after losing his job during a company downsizing, everything went downhill fast. Bills piled up. His marriage crumbled under the pressure, and before he knew it, he was living out of his car. One bad decision led to another, and soon, even his car was gone. With nowhere else to go, he found himself on the streets, surviving day to day, forgotten by the world. As the days passed, Jeff had grown accustomed to people avoiding him, treating him like he didn't exist. So when Elon Musk, a man whose life seemed a million miles away from his own, called him out in the crowd, Jeff was sure it was some kind of mistake. But now, staring at this card, he realized it wasn't. Musk had seen something in him. Something Jeff wasn't even sure he saw in himself anymore. The card was simple, just an address and a time. No promises, no guarantees, just a place and a moment. Jeff's mind raced with possibilities. Should he go? What did Musk want with him? Was this all some sort of elaborate joke? But something deep inside told him that this was real, that this was his chance to turn things around. The day of the meeting came, and Jeff made his way to the address on the card. It wasn't some fancy office building like he had imagined. Instead, it was a sleek, modern facility tucked away from the busy streets of the city. As he approached the door, his heart pounded in his chest. He had no idea what was waiting for him inside. He was greeted by a quiet professional assistant who led him to a small room. The space was minimalist, almost futuristic, with large windows overlooking the city. Before he had time to gather his thoughts, the door opened, and there was Elon Musk again, looking calm and collected as ever. Jeff felt a wave of nervousness wash over him, but Musk's relaxed demeanor put him at ease. Without any small talk, Musk got straight to the point. "I've been working on something," he said, "and I think you can help." Jeff blinked in surprise. Him? Help Elon Musk? The thought seemed absurd. He wasn't a tech genius, wasn't some brilliant engineer or entrepreneur. He was just Jeff. But Musk continued, explaining that he had been developing a program aimed at tackling homelessness, and he needed someone who had experienced it firsthand to help guide the project. "I can throw money at the problem," Musk said, "but that's not enough. I need someone who knows what it's really like out there, someone who's lived it." Jeff was stunned. This wasn't just about charity or a handout. Musk wasn't offering pity. He was offering purpose. He wanted Jeff to be a part of something bigger, something that could potentially change the lives of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Still, Jeff hesitated. Could he really take on something like this? His life had been filled with so much failure, so many missed opportunities. What if he messed this up too? Musk seemed to sense his doubt and spoke again, softer this time. "I believe in second chances, Jeff. We all need them sometimes. This is yours." The weight of Musk's words hung in the air. Jeff felt a spark inside, something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. But with that hope came fear. What if he wasn't ready? What if he couldn't live up to the expectations? The tension was palpable, and as much as Jeff wanted to say yes, he found himself at a crossroads. This wasn't just a job offer. This was a complete shift in his life. And once he stepped through that door, there would be no going back. The conflict in Jeff's mind grew stronger with each passing second. He had been knocked down so many times before, and getting up had always seemed impossible. But now, he was standing at the edge of something huge. something that could either lift him out of the darkness or send him crashing even further down. The stakes couldn't be higher. Jeff knew that taking this opportunity would mean more than just working on a project. It would mean confronting his past, facing the reasons he had ended up on the streets in the first place. It would mean trusting himself again, something he hadn't done in a long time. Musk's eyes never wavered, still locked on Jeff, waiting for his answer. The room felt smaller, the silence heavier. Jeff could feel the pressure building, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. The chance to change everything was right in front of him, but the fear of failure was just as close. With a deep breath, Jeff looked up, ready to give his answer, knowing that whatever he said next would shape the rest of his life. The moment stretched on, filled with tension, anticipation, and the unknown. And just when you think you know what happens next, something unexpected shifts the entire course of events, leaving everything hanging in the balance. Jeff took a deep breath, his heart pounding as he looked up at Elon Musk. This was the moment. His mind raced through all the doubts, the fears, the possibility of failure. But then, something shifted. It wasn't just about him anymore. This was a chance not only to change his life, but to help people who had been through what he had. With that realization, the fear started to melt away, replaced by something else: determination. "I'm in," Jeff said, his voice steady. Musk's face lit up with a smile, as if he had been waiting for this answer all along. "Good," he said, "because what we're about to do is bigger than you can imagine." Over the next few weeks, Jeff found himself in a whirlwind of activity. He was suddenly part of Musk's inner circle, working on a project that aimed to tackle homelessness. At its root, they weren't just handing out money or building shelters. They were creating sustainable, long-term solutions: affordable housing, job training programs, mental health support, and even financial literacy education. Jeff's first-hand experience became invaluable, shaping the entire direction of the initiative. But things weren't always smooth. Jeff struggled at first to keep up with the pace of the work. There were moments of self-doubt, moments where he felt out of place among the professionals and experts. The pressure was intense, and the stakes were high. If this project failed, it wasn't just Jeff who would lose. It would be thousands of people just like him, still stuck on the streets with no way out. The media caught wind of the project, and soon all eyes were on Musk and his secret weapon, Jeff. Headlines ranged from praise to skepticism. "Elon Musk tackles homelessness with unlikely partner" was one of the more favorable ones, but others were harsher, questioning if Jeff, a man who had lost everything, was the right person to be advising one of the wealthiest men in the world on such a critical issue. As the pressure mounted, Jeff began to feel the weight of his new role even more. Could he really pull this off? Could he prove to himself, to the world, that he was capable of making a difference? Or would he become the very thing the critics were waiting for? A failure. Then just when things seemed at their most overwhelming, the project hit a roadblock. One of the key investors pulled out, citing concerns about the feasibility of the plan. The future of the initiative was suddenly uncertain. Meetings turned tense. Deadlines loomed, and for the first time, Jeff saw doubt in Musk's eyes. But instead of crumbling under the pressure, Jeff did something no one expected. He stepped up in a pivotal meeting with everyone expecting Musk to take charge. Jeff found his voice. He spoke passionately about the importance of the project, not from a place of business, but from the heart. He told his own story again, but this time, he framed it differently. It wasn't just about his fall from grace or his struggles on the streets. It was about hope, about how this project wasn't just a job, It was a lifeline for so many people. Like him. The room fell silent as Jeff spoke, his words resonating in a way that no one else's could. Musk listened intently, nodding as Jeff laid out a plan to move forward. Even without the lost investor, it was risky, but it was bold, and it worked. By the end of the meeting, new investors came on board, inspired not just by the project, but by Jeff's personal journey. The momentum shifted. Over the next few months, the initiative began to take shape, faster and more efficiently than anyone had expected. The affordable housing projects broke ground, the job training programs launched, and people, real people, started to feel the impact. Jeff, once a man on the streets, had become a key figure in one of the most ambitious homelessness initiatives ever attempted. And then, the moment of truth came. Musk, always one for dramatic gestures, decided to hold a press conference to unveil the full scope of the project. Jeff stood beside him, still amazed that he was part of something so monumental. As Musk spoke to the world, outlining their vision, he turned to Jeff and handed him the microphone. Jeff paused, looking out at the crowd, at the cameras. The world was watching, waiting to see what he would say. But this time, there was no fear. He knew who he was now, and he knew what he was capable of. I used to think my story was over, Jeff began, his voice strong. But what I've learned is that sometimes all you need is someone to believe in you, to give you a second chance. This project isn't just about solving homelessness. It's about hope. It's about giving people the opportunity to rewrite their own stories. The audience erupted in applause, and as Jeff handed the microphone back to Musk, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pride. The project went on to become a massive success, praised for its innovative approach and real lasting impact on the homeless crisis. Jeff's life was transformed, but more importantly, he helped transform the lives of countless others. And in the end, that's what mattered most. As Jeff looked back on that fateful day when Elon Musk had spotted him in the crowd, he realized it wasn't luck or chance that had brought him here. It was the power of believing in change, in second chances, and in the idea that no one's story is ever truly over.